At KYW Newsradio, we can't think of a better place to call home than right here in Philadelphia. And we're not the only ones.
Hey, this is Jason Kelsey. I love Philadelphia and was thrilled to make it home. Thank you to KYW for bringing the news for 60 incredible years. Congrats. Go Birds.
Thank you for choosing us, Philly. Here's to the next 60 years. Presented by Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Go to lundylaw.com. That's lundylaw.com. Here at KYW News Radio, we can't think of a better place to call home than the Delaware Valley and the city of brotherly love. And we're not the only ones.
Hey, it's Governor Shapiro here. What I love about the Delaware Valley is our people, our sports teams, our history, and our grittiness. In over 60 years, KYW has told these stories, bringing them alive for listeners. Thank you for 60 years of delivering the news. I look forward to 60 more.
Thank you for choosing us for 60 years. Presented by Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Go to lundylaw.com. That's lundylaw.com.
Good evening. I'm Melanie Armstrong.
Breaking news on KYW News Radio.
We're getting reports that a plane has crashed in northeast Philadelphia. A small plane crashed in the area of Cottman Boulevard near the Roosevelt Mall. Fire officials are calling for a mass casualty response. Videos posted online show a large fire at the end of a series of row homes in that area. We do have a reporter headed to the scene. Again, we have a report of a small plane crashing in the area of Cottman Boulevard near the Roosevelt Mall. Stay with KYW for the latest on this developing story.
We continue to follow breaking news out of northeast Philadelphia. Plane crash and resulting explosion on the side of the Roosevelt Mall. There is a neighborhood right by there. Fire crews have been on the scene since about 6:30. Let's check in now with Pat Loeb. She has made her way to the site there. Pat, can you give us an update?
Yes, at the Roosevelt Mall, all of the stores have closed early and everyone has cleared out. The entire mall has been cordoned off by emergency first responders. There is an acrid smell in the air, certainly evidence of, some previous fire, but it looks like that part has been contained. There are just dozens and dozens of emergency vehicles on the scene here and lots of first responders.
KYW's Nigel Thompson is at the scene. He joins us live. Nigel?
Hey, Melanie. Yeah, so I was on a couple minutes ago and we were at a Philly gas station that was at Roosevelt Boulevard and Cottman. Well, they've moved us back from that now. I'm walking among Philadelphia police cruisers. There's Pennsylvania State police cars here. There are many fire trucks here, but they're moving us back across Roosevelt Boulevard, down Cottman, either to a McDonald's that is on the corner of Roosevelt and Cottman or a Sunoco. It's unclear. It's unclear also why they are moving us. I'm currently walking. You can hear the sirens behind me. But I did hear rumblings, unclear, unconfirmed, that a potential gas main leak may have been why they are pushing us back.
Well, fires continue to burn at that site. A Learjet 55 crashed around 6:30 after departing from Northeast Philadelphia Airport. Two people, the FAA is saying two people were on board. Let's go to Mike DiNardo live in the newsroom. Mike.
That's right, Al. This small plane, a Learjet 55, took off from Northeast Philadelphia Airport about 6:06 p.m. and almost immediately crashed in a fireball at the Roosevelt Mall. That's about 3 miles away from Northeast Philadelphia Airport. That Learjet 55 climbed to an altitude of about 1,600 feet before plummeting to the ground and exploding in a fireball. At least 2 people were on board. There were reports that maybe 6 people were on board. The plane was en route to Springfield Branson National Airport in Missouri. The FAA and NTSB, of course, are investigating this. The plane, according to the Associated Press, appeared to be a medical transport jet. The plane took off and quickly disappeared from the radar, and it was registered to a company operating as Med Jets. Of course, it is a chaotic scene near the area of the Roosevelt Mall. Northeast Philadelphia Airport primarily serves business jets, charter flights, and the Philadelphia Emergency Management Office says that there was a major incident at the location of the crash site. Of course, many roads in that area are closed. Governor Shapiro has issued a statement saying that he's spoken with the mayor and the police and fire departments, and the state is offering all of the Commonwealth's resources as dozens and dozens of police and fire crews respond to this emergency, Al.
KYW Newsradio 103.9 FM.
Pope Leo tells cardinals in English his election is a cross and a blessing as he celebrates his first Mass. The Pope is a Villanova grad who once worked as a groundskeeper for St. Denis Parish in Havertown, Delaware County. Retired Supreme Court Justice David Souter has died at the age of 85. Phillies were down 4 runs in the 8th. They came back to beat the Rays 7-6 in extras. We have 60 degrees under a cloudy sky in Philadelphia, reaching for 63 with some showers around on this Friday. Good morning, I'm Ian Bush. His first public Mass will be May 18th. His first general public audience, May 21st. This morning, we heard from Pope Leo XIV in English, calling on cardinals gathered for Mass at the Sistine Chapel to help him spread the Roman Catholic faith.
You have called me to carry that cross and to be blessed with that mission. And I know I can rely on each and every one of you to walk with me.
Leo spoke Italian and Spanish during his first remarks to the world yesterday following his election. He's a Chicago native, but are you really from anywhere else but Delco once you've lived in Delaware County, as Robert Prevost did? St. Mary's Hall was his first dorm at Villanova University, from where he graduated in 1977. Sure has been a whirlwind on campus there on the main line since his election. We get the story from KYW's Tim Jimenez.
Villanova President Father Peter Donahue on the Today Show said Father Robert Prevost always made sure to visit when he was in the U.S. The university also gave him an honorary degree, and he was on the Board of Trustees for a short time.
He's very simple. He's very gentle. He's not boastful at all. He's a very intelligent man, and he loves engaging with people. I think people will be very impressed with him.
And one of the people he engaged with is Villanova's VP of Campus Mission and Ministry, Father Kevin DePrinzio.
I knew him as Bob Prevost, one of our brothers.
When DePrinzio was getting started as an Augustinian friar in 2001, he was studying in the Midwest province where Father Prevost was in charge. Prevost then moved up to lead the entire order for 12 years in the role of prior general. DePrinzio says when he was in Rome with classmates, Prevost treated them to pizza and beer. And in the years that followed, he always kept in touch.
In fact, I just got an email from him on Tuesday where he signed it Fraternally Bob.
Tim Jimenez, KYW News Radio, 103.9 FM.
It is time to celebrate Philadelphia.
Celebrating a championship.
So if I die tonight, I die happy. Not that I want to, but I'll die a happy girl.
Depend on KYW News Radio for the traffic, weather, and information you need to know as the city celebrates. Coverage sponsored by Penn Medicine, the future of healthcare. Here, now.
Hi, Denise. Yeah, we're here at Broad and Pattison, and we were told, yes, that the buses were moving. We did hear some excitement earlier within the last few minutes of, I think there was some anticipation, but now we can't see the buses right now. We are waiting for the buses to come. And I'm here with an Eagles fan.
John from Deptford.
John from Deptford. You barely have a voice, I think, left.
Listen, this is an awesome day. The Philadelphia Eagles are world champions. Let this city celebrate. That's it. Let the city celebrate. And I would like to thank KYW News Radio for giving me traffic on the 2s for driving for work every day.
Thank you. We appreciate that. See, he's here at the Eagles Super Bowl parade, Denise. The buses are almost here, and he's giving us a shout out. That means a lot.
This is awesome. We're like kids up here just watching this parade. This is awesome. They're just starting to make their way. We're here in the Brownstein Group building on Walnut and Broad, and the crowd is losing it completely as the parade makes its way down Broad.
Jalen Hurts wearing a Love Hurts sweatshirt, of course, as they make their way by. Just watching I don't know what's better, the reaction from the fans. I really think it's the players.
I got to say, Jim, you sound like a little choked up.
It's so fun to watch. Again, we've said it. Scott and Mike have said it so many times. This city needed this after all we've been through, going back to the pandemic. We talk so much about the homicide rate, all those things. Finally, something to bring us together. 2018 was a different world, and this moment for Philadelphia. And to see this team, and now I see the smoke you were talking about.
The green smoke.
That's amazing. You have the glitter coming out of the Bellevue garage.
Jim, this is definitely the embodiment of one Philly. That one Philly that the mayor always talks about. This is what we are feeling today. One Philly, united, all behind the beloved Eagles.
And that's absolutely it. Holding up the signs, the Philly got heart, the little sweetheart signs. Players are just having. I'm a kid. I'm a kid.
Party.
You're listening to 12-year-old Jim right now, and to be part of this, even if it's just on the radio, is such a special thing.
Ask and ye shall receive. Last half hour, you asked about the pig that was being roasted not far from us here at the broadcast location. Well. I went over and talked with Nelson Rivera of Cape May County. He's the one who brought the pig.
Valentine's Day, celebrating our champions, celebrating Valentine's Day as well. We decided to smoke a pig.
And tell us about the pig. It's not just your garden variety pig.
Patty the pig. Patty the pig.
How did you decide to decorate the pig to make it look like...
Considering what we did to him last week, smoking a pig was an easy idea.
Yeah, and the pig looks like Patrick Mahomes. It's got a wig. It's got the number 15 carved into it. And I didn't have any, Scott. I didn't taste any, but it looked pretty good.
It does look pretty good. We can see it from right here. And sitting right next to it is somebody wearing Cooper DeJean's jersey. And that's what's happening right now as people are slowly beginning to filter in here to the Art Museum area. We've got Super Bowl champion logos on the steps of the Art Museum. We've got the Eagles logo hung in amongst the pillars of the Art Museum. But on either side, you can hear it in the background, two large monitors that are playing back the actual Super Bowl. Right now, it's early third quarter, and the Birds are up 24-0. But a few minutes ago, Cooper DeJean brought that interception back on his 22nd birthday, and the crowd was chanting Coop. They're getting all kinds of joy out of reliving this, and a second time around is something that was beyond the dreams of many, but a second time since 2018 that we're getting to celebrate this again today. And you and I talked about it a little bit earlier. There's just nothing but joy in this crowd right now.
Yeah, and please no wagering. We know how this game turns out.
The education issues that matter most to you. It's After School with Dr. Watlington, only on KYW Newsradio.
I'm Mike DiNardo. Dr. Watlington, let's get right to it. We have a question from a teacher about the new English curriculum from EL Education. The question essentially is, how much are teachers allowed to deviate from the scripted curriculum? Are they permitted to use their professional expertise to tailor the lessons to the kids in their classrooms, especially in the younger grades?
Teaching, whether it's reading, math, or any other subject, is both an art and it's a science. So on the science part, it's not negotiable that we use high-quality, green-rated instructional materials, and it's not negotiable that we must implement the science of reading. The other side of that nickel, teaching is also an art. Every teacher brings his or her or their own creativity, their authentic gifts to the classroom, and we need to honor that as well. So to summarize what I've just said, the what we need to standardize. The how we can show some degree of flexibility.
The teacher who wrote to us used as an example a kindergarten lesson in which a selfish wizard puts a spell on a man, causing his legs to become wobbly and making him unable to walk. The teacher had a handicapped student in class and was uneasy about reading this lesson aloud, but the teacher wasn't given any leeway to skip that lesson or deviate. Is this an example of the how that you're talking about?
It very well may be. In fact, I'm going to take that exact example you gave me, and I'm going to review it.
Dr. Watlington, thank you.
If there is a question that you would like us to pose to the superintendent, send it along to us at afterschool@kywnewsradio.com.
AOL is best known these days for its free email service. Millions of people still use it, mainly because that's the first email we had in the 90s and the early 2000s, when many of us were first introduced to the internet. But as of today, the way we used to get on the internet is no more, and AOL has shut down dial-up service. Here's KYW's Ian Bush.
Back in our day, we'd fire up our Gateway 2000 and get on the internet. The anticipation, would it connect? Would mom pick up the phone and knock you offline before you even got on? But then the payoff.
Welcome.
That one word, welcome to AOL, America Online, our gateway drug to internet addiction. Our biggest score?
You've got mail.
And electronic mail. Wow. If there was a photo attached, a digital photo, imagine that.
You've got pictures.
You'd have plenty of time to crack open a Crystal Pepsi or Ecto Cooler, and a few minutes later,
file's done.
Ooh, look who's on your buddy list. Teenage ennui packaged as instant messages, IMs. They even made a movie about people finding love online.
But all this nothing has meant more to me than so many somethings.
At one point, it seemed like those free AOL CDs that would come in the mail far outnumbered the population of the United States. But for AOL dial-up, it's mom picking up the phone time, with the only thing left to say,
goodbye.
The bomb that shook Philadelphia. This is Move, 40 years later.
Just a gorgeous day right now.
It was like this on May 13th.
Yeah. And quiet. It's,
very quiet.
Just far enough from the kind of main streets that you don't even really hear many cars. You hear dogs barking, birds chirping.
Yeah. A classic Philadelphia row houses with a nice architectural detail. And this gives you an idea of what it looked like before.
Now it is rather calm in this West Philadelphia neighborhood, but this has been, to be sure, a terrible day in the history of this city. This morning, Philadelphia police delivered their eviction ultimatum to the MOVE group. They rejected the opportunity to leave. A short time later, gunfire started. It lasted for about an hour and a half, almost constant gunfire. A police officer up at the scene.
So it was about 5:30. A helicopter went overhead. I was down at the barricade. I didn't know what was going on, but people watching TV could see very clearly a satchel drop from the helicopter. And a short time later, there was an explosion.
When you were able to get down to the block and see the destruction and devastation, can you describe a bit of like what that looked like at that point?
I think I might have described it as looking like a mouthful of broken teeth because of the random wall that had not burned all the way down. Other than that, it was black. It was soot. All of this debris smelled awful. Yeah. And when they came out the next day, I remember a guy at the barricade was talking about his jazz record collection. 45s and 78 RPM records that he'd accumulated over a lifetime. And it was gone. I felt it was sort of emblematic of the loss. After police fired 10,000 rounds of ammunition at 6221 Osage Avenue without budging a single occupant, and after a day-long standoff as residents evacuated from the surrounding neighborhood waited to get back into their homes, and after the police bomb unit dropped C4 on the house, igniting a fire, and after city leaders watched the fire burn without trying to put it out, and after 3 blocks of houses burned to the ground and 11 people, including 5 children inside the MOVE house, died, at that point it became clear there never really had been a plan for evicting MOVE from Osage Avenue. All that was left by the end of May 13th were questions and a city clamoring for answers.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Most of what we know about that day we learned from the Special Investigation Commission impaneled by Mayor Good shortly after May 13th. The commission hired a staff that combed through evidence all summer. They interviewed 600 witnesses. That fall, they spent a full month conducting hearings. The following March, they issued a report with 31 findings.
I don't think that people have studied it enough to really try and learn the lessons.
Bill Litton was the commission's chief counsel. He led witnesses through testimony that told the story clearly. For months in 1984 and 85, Mayor Wilson Good's administration allowed MOVE to terrorize their neighbors in a lovely community near Cobbs Creek without taking any action. Until the pressure from the neighbors became so great, Good was forced to come up with a plan to end the situation quickly. He delegated that to his managing director, Leo Brooks, who delegated it to Police Commissioner Gregory Sambor, who consulted the head of the bomb squad, one of the decisions that to this day baffles Litton.
If you ask somebody in the bomb squad to come up with a solution, guess what their suggestion's going to be? A bomb.
But there were so many bad decisions, and they just seemed to snowball. Go back to May 12th. The plan, such as it was, called for getting the children out of harm's way while the neighborhood was being evacuated. But at the end of that day, children were still in the house. At that point, the commission found the operation should have been called off. So everything that happened the next day was outside the bounds of sound reasoning. And each decision was a mistake in itself. The gunfire, the explosives, the tear gas, the standoff, the bomb. But most of all, the decision to let the fire burn.
They used fire as a weapon with this stupid idea that they'd be able to control fire.
Litton believes the hearings elicited insights into handling volatile situations. For one, the need for novel thinking when dealing with a group of people who do not share common values with the larger community. The need for careful planning, clear communication, and alternatives.
There was no plan B. They didn't have any other option, they thought, other than to try and end it.
The hearings were broadcast gavel to gavel. They riveted Philadelphia and made news around the world. But Litton believes the lessons were lost to time.
They should be teaching this down at Quantico and at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center down in Georgia as an example, and use this as a case study of what went wrong and try and work through what we might do in the future. And this will happen again. It's going to happen again, just like it happened in Waco. It's going to happen again. I wish that it weren't, but I'm fairly confident at one time it will. And I really fear that whoever's in charge at that point will make the same mistakes or many of the same mistakes because they won't have figured out how to deal with it in advance when lives are not at stake.
You're listening to Move 40 Years Later from KYW Newsradio.
The Special Investigation Commission on MOVE answered a lot of factual questions about what happened on May 13th. They established a timeline, assigned responsibility for decisions and actions, made recommendations for what should happen next, but they couldn't crack the visceral questions, the ones Philadelphians have asked themselves over and over since that day. What were the men in charge of the operation thinking? What was going through their heads when they evacuated Osage Avenue but failed to remove the children from 6221? What did they think was going to happen when they let the fire burn? 40 years later, we still don't have satisfactory answers, and at this point, must accept we never will. 2 of the men are dead, then Police Commissioner Gregory Sambor and Fire Commissioner William Richmond. Former Managing Director Leo Brooks is 92 and could not be reached despite multiple attempts. We did speak with former Mayor Wilson Good in the hope that with 40 years to reflect, he might help us understand that day in a new way. Here's part of that conversation. See what you think. Whose idea was it to drop C4 on the MOVE house?
I have not been able yet to have anyone who took responsibility for making that decision.
And then the next decision was to let the fire burn.
I think that was the most damaging decision that was made. And I cannot imagine a fire commissioner, a police commissioner or managing director with people in the house, with children in the house, saying let the fire burn. And especially the 2 top people
You've said you didn't realize they were letting the fire burn. You were not on the scene because of fears for your safety. So how did you feel the next day when 11 bodies were discovered and you realized that people, including children, had died?
I felt that the decisions made by the managing director and the police commissioner and the fire commissioner, without getting any permission from me to do anything of that nature, because actually the managing director was in charge of all of the departments, and so he has the authority to act without me. Although I said that I want to know what was going on, I assumed that he decided that he was not going to listen to anything else, and he was going to make the decision on the scene. And I called him a number of times to ask him what was going on, and he said, "We got things under control."
And he was wrong.
He was absolutely wrong, and because he knew the instructions from me was that nothing is to be done that will put the children in harm's way.
Do you have any regrets about that day?
I have regrets that the people who were on the scene, I have a regret that they did not do a proper job in terms of what they should have done.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I don't want to add anything.
Wilson Good was reelected 2 years after the MOVE bombing. Brooks and Sambor resigned in 1985, but Richmond stayed on until 1988. The MOVE Commission reprimanded the medical examiner for his unprofessional treatment of the case. He, too, kept his job. The commission also recommended a grand jury investigate claims that police officers had fired at MOVE members trying to leave the house. Several officers took the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination at the hearings. No one was ever charged.
And 71, partly sunny, on the way down to 51 tonight. Good afternoon to you. I'm Michelle Durham. Our top story at 401, Philadelphia detectives looking for a young woman they say has been missing since this past weekend, and her family says it's very unlike her. Joining us live, the details, KYW crime and justice reporter Kristen Johansson.
Yeah, Michelle, 23-year-old Kata Scott was last seen leaving her home by her mother. That home was on Rodney Street in East Mount Airy. She was going to work an overnight shift from Saturday to Sunday at a nearby nursing home. She was only there for a little bit, and then she left prior to her shift's completion, the captain says. But they did find her car in the work parking lot. Police did recover that car, and they're processing it. Investigators say that they're concerned about this because family and friends say that this is very unlike the 23-year-old. She's a large social media presence. She's energetic and bright, they described her, and she would be in touch in some way. The family is sure of that, but her phone is now off. She's posted nothing on social media, and again, she's 23 years old, and she hasn't been heard from. Now, the part that has them concerned, this kind of all culminates with an additional piece of information. They say in the days prior to this disappearance, Scott had talked to the family and friends and said that basically there was somebody or some people that were harassing her through the phone. They don't know exactly, or they didn't relay to us whether or not that was by text message or social media. They're pleading with the public to call in with any tips. They say that there's really no piece of information here, if you've seen this woman, that would go unnoticed. They think that, really any piece of this could be the piece that they need to bring her home. A picture of Scott can be seen on our website and social media, KYWNewsradio.com. Again, if you have seen this woman, 23-year-old Kata Scott, they are asking for you to call in with a tip.
The disappearance of Kata Scott, the latest on KYW News Radio.
Human remains were found this afternoon. The area police were searching for 23-year-old Kata Scott, who has been missing since October 4th. Police say they will wait on the medical examiner's office to complete their investigation before confirming an identity. We got more on the story from KYW's Sonny Morgan.
First Deputy Commissioner John Stanford says an anonymous tip led them to a shallow grave behind the abandoned Ada H. Lewis Middle School in East Germantown.
It's a wooded area that goes beyond the school. And so
we begin to go back into that area where we will locate a shallow grave after being able to remove some of the debris back there, able to locate the body of a human being. All indications at this point is that it's a female.
There's no words that can describe the grief. There are no words that can take away the pain.
She was trying to give. She wasn't trying to take, but someone took her from us.
We're going to fix this. And when we do it, we're going to name that bill in her name. We will get it done.
We are back on the Week in Philly as we continue with our coverage of the Kata Scott case. Now, in the wake of confirmation of her death, there were multiple public events connected to this tragedy this past week, and KYW Sunny Morgan covered some of them, and she joins us now. And Sunny, to start, you were actually the reporter here on Saturday when the remains that were eventually confirmed to be Kata Scott were found. What was that like on the ground on Saturday?
Definitely a bit tense. I remember getting out of the car and there were about a dozen or so community members out there just kind of, talking to the police, sharing their frustrations. And the police also responded and said they understand the emotion that people carried about the story. Obviously, it's a very emotional story, but definitely very tense energy from the community side, but overall, obviously very sad.
Now, on Monday, you attended a candlelight vigil for Kata Scott. Where was that? And talk a little bit about what you saw and felt there.
So the vigil was directly on the lawn outside of the middle school, the vacant middle school, Ada H. Lewis, which was where they eventually found her remains behind there. It was, again, very sad, very emotional.
This touches home. The idea that young black girls cannot be safe, even at their own workplace, in their own city, in their own town, is unacceptable.
A lot of people were, speaking out about possibly getting that school torn down in the future, but mostly obviously somber and remembering, Kata and who she was.
Then on Wednesday, you attended kind of a town hall that Mayor Sherrell Parker and other officials spoke at. Kind of what was the focus here?
So definitely the focus was, number one, to honor Kata and talk about her and her memory.
We want to make sure at this moment we lift up the family of Ms. Kata Scott.
The main thing was probably for the mayor to ease that community up there in East Germantown that's been so affected by the tragedy.
We want to say to all of the friends of the family who are present and any family members who are here that even as mayor of this city, there are no words that I can employ to remove the unimaginable pain.
People talked about all sorts of topics like, obviously violence and crime, but also what's going on the street cleaning in the community, hiring new block captains and things of that nature. So definitely wanted to just get into that community and talk to them and really ease their frustrations and comfort them.
My name is Priya Korimode. I was a dear friend of Kata's. We met in college. I wanted to speak more to what we can do in our high schools, especially for young girls and young men as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I don't think they understand the dexterity of what happened. Getting people in there to speak to our young people about this stuff, about violent offenses, about harassment, about stalking. I love my friend dearly.
How is the community trying to come together? I imagine a lot of people want to do anything they can to help this family.
So there's so many efforts I've been seeing going on. There's a GoFundMe online that her family had put together since before they found out about her obviously tragic death. But there's a GoFundMe. There are a couple of council people in the city, the officials that are raising funds. They're also offering a food bank and things like that to help the family and giving them gift cards and stuff so they don't have to worry about things while they're grieving.
Thank you, Sunny. KYW Sunny Morgan joining us. Much more to get to on this edition of The Week in Philly, and we will bring it to you right after this.
It's a child's celebration of the holidays.
My name is Rion Doss. I'm in 3rd grade and I go to McCall. My family celebrates Christmas and we always go on a trip to Pittsburgh. It's like a 4.5 hour drive with no traffic. We go to my aunt's house. I have a big family, 4 siblings, and I'm the oldest. A ton of aunts, uncles, and cousins. When we get out of the car and finally are at the destination, I feel really excited. We go to Christmas Eve church, and they always have hot chocolate afterwards. Christmas morning, I like to wake up really early at 5:30. My mom and uncle dress up as elves, and wake us up singing and dancing. And I always think that's really funny.
What do they sing?
Jingle bells. We take the family picture on the stairs with everyone. Then everyone runs downstairs and opens their presents. Coming home, you're sad that you had to leave. But it's exciting because once you get home, you can remember everything and think, wow, we had a really good time. The car ride is worth it because you get to do something really good in the end.
The joy of the holidays through the eyes of children at KYWNewsradio.com/celebration.
Countdown to News Radio is now 15 seconds.
What do people in Philadelphia want in a radio station?
I could tune and get the news at any time.
There's a need for this in our time when news is so complex.
All news and only news. This is KYW News Radio at 12 noon, and I'm Steve Porter.
From now on, this will be your news button. Anytime you want the news, just push this button.
You're in tune with KYW.
Governor Scranton in an exclusive interview with KYW News Radio.
Navy football on KYW News Radio.
Go to KYW's Andrea Mitchell.
Bill Green has given a victory statement to the crowd.
Lions are going to win the Stanley Cup!
Catch the spirit. Catch it on KYW.
Most Holy Father.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
State police in Harrisburg have been called to the 3-mile nuclear plant.
Philadelphia turns us on.
New York City to take this world championship and stick it.
When the Phillies ignite, it's a hometown phenomenon.
There's just been another explosion. People are moving fast.
Philadelphia police officers have started an offensive against the MOVE headquarters.
Right now you can hear a tremendous amount of gunfire.
I wasn't around for Woodstock. I want to be around for this.
Head coach Billy Cunningham holds the cup up, signifying the world champion 76ers.
Continuing with the news, this is 1060.
Senator John Hines died in the crash.
What do you listen to when it snows?
446, 448, 452.
1060.
They'll never forget me when I leave.
Former Mayor Frank Rizzo has died.
And there'll never be another one like
me. The reinvigoration of the city, I think we deserve an A.
12th alarm, 15th to Chestnut Street.
The most difficult fire I've ever been
on. And they knew that this pier was in deplorable shape.
There were 3 beautiful young women.
My radio address this weekend is being hosted by Philadelphia station KYW.
KYW News Radio 1060. You never needed us more.
From Independence Mall, this is News Radio, KYW 1060, Philadelphia.
You're listening to KYW. We have a live report from
CBS. This is the CBS News Special Report. I'm Dan Raviv. An airplane has hit the World Trade Center.
I saw the second jet go into the second tower.
The Pentagon fire is still burning.
An airplane has crashed about 80 miles southeast of Pittsburgh.
The fire department and then NYPD, they're heroes.
I know everyone says, never forget, and I say, let's remember.
KYW News Radio 1060.
Mayor John Street with the countdown.
3, 2, fire!
Pushing the plunger to bring down the vet.
World champ.
Somebody pinch me.
World
1060
champion.
That's the radio transmission from the Broken Down Duck Boat.
The second worst natural disaster in the history of our country.
The Pope is coming to Philadelphia.
Charges that have just been filed against William Henry Cosby.
Mr. Williams sold his office in exchange for a corrupt stream of benefits.
Let the celebration begin.
If it is a dream, don't wake me up.
Hungry dogs run fast.
Welcome to history.
KYW News Radio 1060.
KYW News Radio 103.9 FM in 3, 2.
From high above the Schuylkill River.
All news and all that matters to you.
KYW News Radio
103.9 FM.
It was here.
The first recognized case of COVID-19.
Stay at home.
Excuse me, can you put a mask on?
Everyone should wash their hands often.
Firefighters raced into a row home apartment.
I don't have the word.
12 were dead inside.
This is unbelievable.
What's become the Vine Street Canal.
We rebuilt I-95 in just 12 days.
It's been a long 2 weeks for Chester County residents.
Danilo Cavalcante was caught along Route 100.
Thank God it's over.
I said, what is that, a bomb?
It came out of the clouds going in a straight nosedive.
No, sweetheart, there was a plane.
La pace sia con tutti voi.
Villanova Pope.
Yes, he knows Wawa.
Fly, Eagles, fly! Eagles fans,
Jalen special.
savor it and rejoice.
Oh, we did it. This is the best Eagles team of all time.
I love you guys.
The first place I go for everything.
The views, the traffic.
In my car. It's an all the time, 2, 3, 4 times a day.
The weather, sports, it's all there whenever I need it.
Thank you for 60 years.
Bringing the news for 60 incredible years.
And thank you for all you've done for this terrific city of Philadelphia.
Congrats. Go Birds.
KYW Newsradio.
103.9 FM.